I found out what my husband kept from me for the past 15 years. My husband Luke always told me he messed up his left arm playing college football, had this gnarly scar running down his forearm, and said he couldn't lift it all the way up because of a bad break from a tackle gone wrong. Honestly, I never questioned it. Guy was built like he used to play sports, and the scar looked legit. For 15 years, he'd dodge anything that needed his left arm. No tennis when we went on vacation, wouldn't help move heavy furniture, always made me open pickle jars because his bad arm couldn't grip right. I felt bad for him, you know, thought it was just one of those things. Last month I was cleaning out our closet for a donation run, found this old shoebox stuffed in the back behind Luke's winter coats. Inside was random stuff, old concert tickets, some photos, and this manila envelope. When I opened it, there was an x-ray inside. The bones looked perfect, like completely normal. No fracture lines, no metal pins, nothing that screamed football injury. I checked the date stamp, 3 weeks before our wedding. That made 0 sense. I confronted Luke that night while he was watching TV, showed him the x-ray. Care to explain why your supposedly broken arm looks fine in this? His face went white, started stammering about how maybe it was an old x-ray from before the injury, but the date was right there in black and white. Luke, I'm not stupid. What's really going on? He turned off the TV and just sat there for like 10 minutes. Finally started talking, and what came out wasn't what I expected at all. His arm was never broken, not even close. 3 weeks before our wedding, Luke and his best friend Mason went on this bachelor party weekend up in the mountains. They'd been friends since they were like 8 years old. Mason was going to be his best man. They were staying at this cabin, drinking way too much, being idiots. Mason had brought his ATV, and they decided to take it for a ride even though they were both wasted. Luke was driving. He hit a tree going about 40 miles per hour. Mason wasn't wearing a helmet, died instantly. Luke walked away with just some cuts and internal bruising. The scar on his arm? From surgery they did to check for internal bleeding, but Mason was gone. I couldn't tell you, Luke said, crying harder than I'd ever seen him. How could I marry you after killing my best friend? I felt like I didn't deserve happiness. Didn't deserve you. So he made up the football story. Told everyone Mason died in a solo ATV accident while Luke was back at the cabin. Even Mason's parents never knew Luke was there. And for 15 years, he faked not being able to use his left arm properly. Said it was his way of never forgetting what he'd done. Every time someone asked me to throw a ball or lift something heavy, I remembered Mason. It was like my punishment. I was furious. Not just about the lie, but about him carrying this alone for so long. You let me feel sorry for you for 15 years while you were punishing yourself for an accident? We didn't talk for 3 days. I stayed at my sister's place, trying to figure out what this meant for us. Was our whole marriage built on a lie? How could I trust him again? But then I started thinking about Mason. I'd heard Luke mention him a few times over the years, always said he was a good friend who died young. Luke never wanted to visit his grave or talk about him much. Now I knew why. When I came home, I told Luke we were going to therapy, together. You can't carry this guilt alone anymore, but you also can't lie to me ever again. It took months. Luke finally contacted Mason's parents and told them the truth. They were hurt he'd hidden it, but they forgave him. Said they'd always wondered why Luke disappeared from their lives after the funeral. The breakthrough moment came during one of our therapy sessions. Our therapist asked Luke to demonstrate how limited his arm movement really was. He barely lifted it to shoulder height, same as he'd been doing for years. Now try lifting it normally, she said. Luke looked confused. I can't. Yes, you can. The x-ray shows your arm is fine. The limitation is in your head. It took him 20 minutes of coaching, but finally Luke raised his left arm all the way up. He started sobbing. 15 years of fake limitation, gone.